Hey everybody, welcome to Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page. On this episode, a double helping from Off the Beaten Path. We'll meet the three women whose landmark Alaska restaurant, known for its fried chicken, won a 2025 James Beard Award as an American classic. But first, to Colorado, and the woman behind a restaurant a mile from any road at an elevation of more than 10,000 feet, where diners arrive on skis or snowshoes to enjoy a surprisingly upscale meal. It's the Tennessee Pass Cookhouse, and here's General Manager Erica Curry. Erica, so nice to chat with you. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, of course, no problem.
The obvious first question, how do you get to work?
On a busy day, always, mostly by snowmobile. On a day that we can potentially take some time for ourselves by snowshoe or hiking or skiing.
Okay. And is that a good thing? I mean, hi, good morning, let's go to work. I'm going to strap on my snowshoes?
Those days are the best days. That means like a couple of the staff members have some free time to take for themselves. Most of the time it's a scurry with a trailer and a snowmobile for everybody.
So explain exactly what Tennessee Pass is.
Tennessee Pass is obviously more than just the cookhouse. That is just one part of it. So all in all, it's a cross-country skiing Nordic center with a cafe, and then the cookhouse itself. And then we also have lodging. So we have 6 overnight sleep yurts. But the cookhouse is our definite main attraction. And it's a 30-foot yurt a mile into the backcountry, surrounded by nothing but snow and mountains and trees, and an off-the-grid fine dining restaurant.
How do you do an off-the-grid fine dining restaurant? The truck can't just pull in with...
Definitely not. Definitely not that. We have a commercial kitchen at the Nordic Center. So we do a lot of the prep at the Nordic Center kitchen. And then we literally load it all up in coolers. We have like our meat cooler and our prepped cooler and our fresh produce cooler. And in the winter, we literally load it up in a snowmobile trailer and trek it up there. In the summer, we use side-by-sides and trucks to drive up there. So majority of it is prepped in the kitchen down there. And then we drive it up and cook, we cook all the meats. We do all the plating, most of the sauces, all that kind of stuff up at the cookhouse. It's probably... 8 by 10 foot kitchen.
8 by 10?
It's quite small. It's only a 30-foot in diameter restaurant, so we only seat 36, maybe 40 people a night. It's all by reservation. It's all prefixed and pre-ordered. And then we do lunches in the winter on the weekend as well, which is a little bit more casual, burgers and sandwiches and such. But the kitchen has a speed rack, 2 prep tables, 2 5-foot prep tables, a 6-burner stove and oven, and then a flat top grill. And that's it.
But you're making some pretty sophisticated meals, are you not?
We are, yeah, definitely. I mean, sophisticated in the sense that we focus on the product, where it comes from. Luckily, we're doing it for a smaller amount of people, so we just have to do it as simply and flavorful as possible. But yeah, I mean, we're cooking wild game, whatever we can to attract the customers.
I want to get to the menu in a second, but you mentioned the customers. How do they get there?
They're special people. They ski, they snowshoe, they hike. We do offer shuttle services for those who can't make it, injured, elderly. We do take some folks up by snowmobile ride, or we also have a sport utility vehicle that has snow tracks on it. So it's like a little tiny snow cat for those that know skiing and ski hills well. And then in the summer, we'll drive our trucks and stuff and give some folks a ride that need it. But for the most part, it's a mile ski in, a mile ski out, sunshine or moonlight or no moonlight in the dark. We provide headlamps for everybody.
How far are you from a major population center?
Leadville is the closest city. It's probably 8 miles from our parking lot to Leadville. And Leadville is probably, give or take, summer, winter, weekend, anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 people in population. We have one grocery store, couple gas stations. It's a small town for sure.
Do you get the vacation crowd from Vail? Do you get folks driving all the way from Denver?
All of the above. Honestly, we get people from all over the world. For one, people ski vacationing in Colorado is an international phenomenon, obviously. But yeah, we do get a lot of folks from Vail and Beaver Creek. And we literally have people that drive up from Denver to go to dinner and then drive back, which is on a good day and downhill an hour and 45 minutes.
I read on your website that Leadville is the highest incorporated city in North America at 10,152 feet.
It is indeed.
That altitude influences or affects the way things cook, doesn't it?
It definitely does. The way water boils, the way bread bakes, even down to the way how hot we keep our stove. When it's 0 degrees outside, which happens all the time, it's hard to keep the kitchen hot even. So everything is run on solar, and then we have a generator, but literally the entire place is heated by wood stove. So we have a pretty cool potbelly stove that's kind of a historical landmark for us from Camp Hale from the 10th Mountain Division. And that's what keeps us and all the people warm. So it does affect some stuff. It does make it challenging. It does affect people. It affects the customers, that high altitude, so we have to be prepared for that.
In what way?
Luckily, we've never had any serious issues, but headaches. Some people, when they spend the night, can be worse. For dinner, they can come up and get down and be all right. But lethargic. Obviously, some people can experience difficulty breathing, but those are also things that we try to let people know about ahead of time as well, especially when they're I'm going to bring my, 75-year-old father up. He skis every day. And does he ski at 11,000 feet? Just make sure we're taking care of all of our people.
How did you end up here? Did you grow up doing food? Did you grow up skiing and hiking? What?
Oh, man. So I was born in Salt Lake City. I'm used to the Rockies, right? I was born in the Rockies. Grew up in Portland, Oregon.
A great food town.
Oh, yeah. Some of the best, right?
Yeah.
One of my best friends in high school moved to Leadville right after high school because we have the highest incorporated college in Leadville. And he went to the Colorado Mountain College here in Leadville. So that's how I originally heard of it. And then I went to the University of Oregon and moved to Denver. I met a bunch of folks at the University of Oregon from Denver. And so after that, I just started coming up here. It's just, ultimately, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. And I knew it was up here. And so, fly fishing, hiking, doing the things that I wanted to do, living in Denver. And then I was like, this is it. This is the place. I didn't want to be in the big city anymore. And Leadville was affordable for a 23-year-old just out of college, kid. And it's stunning. It's literally breathtaking, physically breathtaking. And it's just the most peaceful place I've ever been in my entire life. It's amazing.
Now, you studied what, environmental science in college?
Yeah. Honestly, University of Oregon, what didn't I study? Spanish, business, photography. But I majored in environmental science. And that actually was one of the other reasons I was attracted to Leadville was the outdoor education. That's what I was kind of looking into originally. But after a few years, I found the cookhouse and I never looked back. I managed a couple restaurants before I found it down a town south of Leadville and actually in New Mexico for a year. And then we came back. We couldn't stay away. And then I found this job and I haven't left.
What's your culinary training?
I don't have any. I'm self-taught. I've been cooking since I was a child. It's just a passion that I've always had. I started working in restaurants when I was in college. Honestly, a Thai restaurant in Eugene, the woman that ran that restaurant was a huge inspiration for me. She immediately brought me into her catering sector of her restaurant and let me cook and go to festivals and do all the things that she was doing in that regard. And I've just sought out, even outside of my schooling and looking for other jobs that I thought were meant for me, I was always in the kitchen. I was always in a restaurant on the side. And then it just became not on the side. It became a permanent hustle, if you will.
When you came to Tennessee Pass, to the cookhouse, what did you start as?
I started serving at the cookhouse. That lasted for about 2 weeks. I think I caught the owner's eye pretty quickly as someone that was in leadership and management. And ever since then, I've done pretty much all of the hiring and sometimes unfortunate firing, but all of the menu creation. It's such an interesting business because it's so seasonal. We have an incredibly busy winter season. It's just go, go, go all the time. The summer for us is actually sometimes surprisingly a little bit slower. We go from 40 employees to 6 or 8 in the summer. So I've catered every wedding for the last 7 years. I just have a passion for the food,
A passion for what kind of food?
A passion for flavorful and properly sourced food that someone really cares about the way that it looks and the way that it tastes. And I think it will come from our customers. Like, we don't make this food with ease. Like, we make it with love and with passion, and we don't just pour something out of a bag and put it on a plate. Like, everything is made from scratch, and it shows.
We'll be right back.
The thing that we struggle with is we have to make sure that the food matches the experience, which is something that you can't find hardly anywhere. The food has to be as unique as the experience.
So how do you make it unique?
Not with a cookbook. Luckily, I've had a massive pleasure in hiring the chefs that I've been able to hire over the last few years. We all have the same passion, and it's caring about our customers. That's the biggest thing. And that's where our inspiration comes from. And not only that, our inspiration comes from the people that we source it from. Like, all of our wild game majority of our wild game comes from Durham Ranch, which is a farm in Wyoming. And it's been open since 1940 something that provides incredibly quality meat. And we just can take inspiration from those kinds of folks. We're a small business. This is it's really a mom and pop operation. We get a lot of our produce, especially in the summer, from the Vail Farmers Market, from the San Luis Valley. We just have to source and get inspiration from what we have available to us, I think is the biggest thing too, where we are located at. The cookhouse is almost at 11,000 feet. We have to get what's available to us. So I think a lot of that plays a part in our inspiration for sure.
How does that manifest itself on the menu? When I look at the menu, what's locally available to you?
In the winter, it's tricky. It is super tricky in the winter, obviously. We have, in the summer, it's a CSA with a company in San Luis Valley that sources from farms all over Southern Colorado, mostly Southern Colorado. In the winter, we do our best with our food distributor to get all the Colorado product that we can. We always get our meat from Durham Ranch, so that's just been a constant, which is nice. And they have such a massive variety of things that we can get. We just got bison carpaccio, and I'm so excited about that.
What does that taste like?
Delicious, for one thing. The difference between bison and beef is just it's hard to explain in a food word, but velvet is what comes to mind when I describe bison. It's just this smooth richness. The texture is like butter, basically. It's just so delicious. Of course, we have the people that are like, what's the difference between bison and beef? And to us, there's a massive difference. To some, maybe not so much, but velvet's the best word I could put into play with the difference.
So what are the kinds of wild game that are on your menu, and what do you do with them?
Right now we have bison tenderloin and elk rack. Those two we keep on the menu pretty much all the time, and we just change the way that they're prepared. We did elk rack osso buco, if you will, slow roasted in a delicious red wine sauce for hours. The bison right now is marinated for a couple of days, and what I'm trying to think of what they're serving it with, a compound butter at the moment, I think is a radish and mint compound butter, which is also awesome. It's really hard to go wrong with bison. You could grill it with salt and pepper and serve it, and everybody would be flabbergasted. Duck breast with a mole, which I'm pretty excited about. Our new chef is Culinary Institute trained, which I've never experienced before at this restaurant, and I'm super excited about it. He's very young, but he has the biggest heart and the greatest ideas. So his duck mole is a popular one. We're doing a fresh pasta that he's making homemade, and then it's served with a roasted prawn. But normally in the summertime, we're doing Colorado trout, the things that we can get.
I want to back you up to that mole. Making mole is a highly complex and time-consuming process. You're not doing it at the top of the mountain. You're doing it in your kitchen down below, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Supposedly, according to some of our other employees whose mothers make mole also, he's doing it even more extensively than a lot of abuelitas would make it, And it's a day process. I mean, he has to do it on a day, the chef has to do it on a day that he's not at the cookhouse. It takes all day long. And it's so delicious. It's so good.
How many ingredients?
We have a shelf in the kitchen just for the mole ingredients. Probably, 18, 19 ingredients, I would say.
Most people don't know this. Not all mole has chocolate. Does this one have chocolate?
This one has chocolate. Definitely. It's like that warm, cozy, like hot chocolate feeling that you want while you're skiing.
What other dishes have been on the menu that are particularly representative of local product or great technique? What are the other dishes that stand out for you?
To be honest, in Leadville, in Colorado in general, but in Leadville specifically, we actually do have an incredibly large Mexican population. A lot of our restaurants in town, a lot of the people that cook for us, as chefs in this town, there's a lot of Mexican food that we fusion, if you will, our recipes with. Last summer, we did a Colorado trout with a mango salsa. And obviously our mango wasn't locally sourced. But our jalapenos, our onions, the root vegetables and the peppers that we can grow actually pretty easily in Colorado and at high altitude. The herbs, that's our thing. It's we have to find what we can grow. And luckily, recently in the last few years, we have a farm in Leadville, which is huge, right? The farm's not huge. It's a big deal. They grow spectacular greens and herbs and root vegetables. The last couple of summers, we've been so fortunate to be able to get product from them that's literally down the street that we've never been able to get before. And train our menu to mimic what we can actually receive from our local farmers. So that trout was pretty special to us to finally be look at all of this local salsa. Outside of the mango, this local salsa was huge for us.
You did elk tenderloin at one point with a reduction? Blueberry, sage, and port?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. That's so nostalgic for me. We've gone back to that sauce multiple times, but also when I started at the cookhouse, the menu had been the same for quite some time. But that being said, it was delicious. It was without a doubt, people kept coming back for it. We've been growing in these modern times with everybody having these a new menu every day kind of vibes, But that being said, that wild blueberry with a port wine reduction is something that I feel like we should bring back. It's so good with the elk tenderloin. And that's the other thing is the elk tenderloin, even separate from the bison tenderloin. Probably one of the best cuts of meat I've ever had in my entire life. The flavor and the texture and the richness, it literally just diminishes any kind of red meat I've ever had before. It's a spectacular cut of meat.
When I lived in Minnesota, everyone would invite you over to eat the venison they had hunted. And the first thing they always told you about venison was how they had a special technique to make it tender. And that involved putting it in a crock pot for 17 and a half years, and it wasn't tender, which left me with the impression that wild game is a tough cook and a tough eat. Disabuse me of that.
I would severely disagree with that notion. In my opinion, venison is a little bit gamier, whatever that means to people. I'm not really sure at this point. I've been eating wild game for so many years. The flavor of it and the richness of it and the I can't even describe sometimes the fork cut, I don't need a knife to cut elk or bison tenderloin. You can cut it with a fork. And the other thing too is the osobuco, maybe we cooked for a few hours, but other than that, especially with the size of our kitchen, we're marinating, we're seasoning, we're grilling quickly, we're slicing, and we're serving. Majority of the comments, it's our number one sold, the bison tenderloin. And then when we had the elk, it was the number one sold meal that we had. And the comments are just this is nothing like I've ever tasted. It's so tender. It's so fresh. It's so delicious. And I think that's part of cooking it for 17 days, 17 hours. It takes away that freshness that you can have. And that's why I'm so excited about that bison carpaccio. It's literally, raw and fresh. And I think the meat itself, it speaks for itself. The flavor speaks for itself. And cooking it quickly and simply, salt and pepper even, that's all you need. It's literally all you need. It's so delicious.
Coming right back. If our conversation motivates a listener to say, I want to try bison or elk, and you can get it online, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely.
Got any advice for them as to how to handle it?
If you don't know how to, butcher and trim meat, buy it properly trimmed. That's a big thing because that's one of the things. The fat and the silver skin and all those things are probably a lot of the things that might ruin it for somebody that's not getting it from someone that can properly trim it. Like, you've got to get down to that bare bones meat, if you will. So that would be my number one recommendation. My second recommendation would be just use the other flavors that you like. We did the blueberry for so long. We've done mint. We've done tomato. We've done all these different flavors to serve it with. I'm not going to say that it's good with anything. I'm sure there's some things that it's not good with, but to use flavors that mimic a palate that you normally enjoy.
Where do you get your mushrooms? I notice you have a mushroom crepe on the menu.
There's a local farm in Colorado down on the Front Range. So we get them through our food distributor, but they do come from a local farm down in Denver. But in the summertime, we get these very special morels. We have a really awesome thing in Colorado. Food distributors can buy this basically a foraging permit. So people can go and forage for mushrooms and sell them to restaurants. And the morels that some people find in Colorado, because oftentimes come from wildfire, right? So in Colorado, like many other states, unfortunately, but it's an issue. We have these massive forests and they're like the phoenix of wildfire, they're just born out of the ashes. And the morels are massive and so amazing. So that's like a summer treat for sure, is getting those.
What do you do with them in the summer?
Last summer, they're so big, we could stuff them. So we would just salt and pepper them, quick grill them, and then we would pipe them. We did a few different things, almost like a thick sausage gravy, if you will, mostly sausage, a little bit of cream, and then would just stuff them, which was amazing. We also, I wouldn't describe a morel as a garnish, but on our elk ossobuco, we would just take these massive morels and grill them on either side and just literally put them right on top of the ossobuco.
I'm going to leave this conversation dying for that carpaccio and those mushrooms.
The carpaccio dish is going to be arugula, capers, and a cured egg yolk.
A cured egg? Like aged? Brined? What do you do with an egg yolk?
Aged is one thing. Salted is another. We haven't quite decided. What we did just figure out is that you can also honey cure an egg yolk. That's the route we might take here.
How do you draw the line between good food? I mean, that's you want the customer to have good food, but also how far you can unleash your creativity. Is there a place where you have to stop?
Definitely. Unfortunately, but definitely. Honestly, the thickest line is when something can't handle the snowmobile ride. We don't do a lot of custards. Actually, now that I say that, the egg yolks, we'll see how that goes.
Oh, those are coming in by snowshoe.
So yeah, things have to be able to travel well is our biggest thing, which is, can be unfortunate. But luckily, we do host a lot of small elopements and weddings, and we can take our creativity out on these people with weddings, which lucky for them. It's nice because we do host a lot of our weddings at the Nordic Center, so we don't have to trekking up there. But honestly, it's stabilization, if you will, is probably our biggest fight with the food up there.
You talk about doing weddings and you've done all sorts of catering. Now you've got an espresso bar that you own, I guess, in a horse trailer? The Copper Colt?
It's in a horse trailer. I'm so fortunate. The owners of Tennessee Pass, Ty and Roxanne Hall, I've worked here for a long time. I've built this place up with them. We've changed a lot of things. We've done a lot of things to grow this business. At times can feel overwhelming, but they are so kind to me, and they've just let me take my own reins, if you will. See what I did there? I opened a horse trailer coffee cart. It's been completely, obviously, cleaned and remodeled on the inside. A double horse trailer in Leadville. And it's not open in the winter. It's too dang cold. But in the summertime, we just kind of follow the crowds of Leadville and serve espresso.
Espresso ain't easy to get right, is it?
No, it's so hard. I would like to say that it's not affected by the altitude either, but I feel like that's probably not true. I don't know the science behind that. The nice thing about the Nordic Center is it's a cafe. So I've been making espresso at the Nordic Center. I have a lot of, not forcefully, willingly gotten a lot of experience making coffee for the last few years. And so when I got this idea, which I've wanted to have a coffee shop for a really long time, I also managing restaurants for this long know how difficult that is especially when it's your own. So the smaller amount of staff I could have, the better was my first goal. And this is literally perfect. There are 2 people fit in there tightly, but it's been really fun. It's been an awesome experience. And the Leadville Race Series, a huge thing that we have going on here in Leadville that brings really big crowds. We follow those crowds with the truck coffee trailer. They love it. It's, again, people from all over the world in this tiny little mountain town. And what better thing than to have quality espresso?
This is auto racing?
It's actually a good thing to bring up because Ty and Roxanne are a massive part of it. It's a huge part of our community. The Leadville Race Series, so it's a 100-mile foot race and a 100-mile mountain bike race. 70% of the race is above 11,000 feet. It's been going on for years, and the owners, Ty and Roxanne, have both done the Leadville 100 mountain bike race 20 times.
Good Lord, I think I'd want more than an espresso when that's done.
We've been talking about a liquor license because people was like, where's the Baileys and the whiskey? We need that also.
This sounds like a must-visit location.
Definitely.
I'd love to get out there and dine with you guys.
You're always welcome.
Oh, I'll be there. Erica, this has been terrific. I want to thank you for sharing these stories and your time. And I hope to get out to Colorado and dine at your place.
Of course. We would love to have you.
Erica Curry from Colorado. Now we're on to Alaska, where the Lucky Wishbone in Anchorage has been serving up home cooking since 1955. This year, the restaurant was recognized with a James Beard America's Classics Award, and I had a chat with the owners. Well, hello, Lucky Wishbone people. How are you?
Great. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you. Thanks for doing this. Before we get deep into anything, who's who? Could you introduce yourselves?
Yes, I'm Patricia Brown Heller. I'm the oldest daughter of George and Peggy Brown, who started the Lucky Wishbone in 1955.
Wow.
I'm Heidi Heinrich-Lervagg, and I'm currently the longest running employee at the Lucky Wishbone. I started in 1979.
Which leaves the baby next to you.
I'm Carolina. Stacey. I've been with the Lucky Wishbone a total of 30 years now.
So let's start off with that James Beard Award. Congratulations. Did you have any idea it was coming?
None at all. None at all. It was a complete surprise.
Who took the phone call?
Crazy enough, it was actually our general manager, Kelsey Phillips. Somebody told her that there was a phone call from someone who wanted to speak to management. And when you get a phone call, it's always like, oh, what happened? And so she gets on the phone and the lady tells her she's with the James Beard Award, and she froze. She knew exactly who they were, and she's like looking at the phone display to make sure it is coming from...
Well, Carolina, did you know who they were?
To tell you the truth, when she was trying to tell us this, my first reaction was, maybe this is a prank.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's joking with us, But she was so over the moon, and she's like, no, you have to look this up. Oh my God, this is incredible, which it truly is. It's been quite the amazing surprise. We have no idea how we got nominated. We know who we are. We've been in business for 70 years. So I know that that's something that not everybody gets to do. But did we have even an inclination of knowing that we may be running for this? We had no clue. Not at all.
Heidi, what'd you think?
I was stunned, absolutely stunned. Again, I thought it was a prank as well. And when we called Patty, Patty was, are you sure? But it was one of those things that, as you start reading and you read about the category, we fit all the boxes. We are long running, we're family style. We definitely fit all the boxes of an American classic.
Pat, the place has been in your family since the very beginning. This must feel like the culmination of something very special.
Oh, it's just amazing. I wish my mom were here, particularly. We got an award for being the small business of the year in 2002, I believe it was. And I got to accompany her to Washington, D.C. to get the award. And she was just walking on clouds the whole time. So if anybody would have appreciated it, would have been Mom.
Yeah.
Now, didn't she get to meet the president?
She did.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, Senator Stevens, who was our longtime senator from Alaska, he was having an event and President Bush was at the event, and he called Mom over and said, Mr. President, I'd like you to meet Mrs. Brown. She owns the Lucky Wishbone restaurant in Alaska and serves the best fried chicken in the whole country.
That's nice.
She was 80 something at the time and was so pleased. I'm so proud.
You mentioned checking off all the boxes in the American classics category, much of which centers around your continued importance to your community. But generally, you think of James Beard Awards as going to hoity-toity, super expensive restaurants, which you clearly are not.
No.
So what are you?
Oh my. Well, we are a landmark restaurant. We've been in the same location ever since. There's not a whole lot of new items on the menu. We have remained true to who George and Peggy started the business like, We tend to be a household name. Families bring their children when they're born, and then later on, the children are bringing their children. It is generational.
And we've been in Alaska since territorial days.
Before Alaska was a state.
Before Alaska was a state.
Have things changed much?
Well, the population, everything has changed, yes.
Okay, so what's on the menu? Is that famous fried chicken there? Heidi, why don't you jump in here?
We are very well known for our chicken. We fry it in a big, low pan. It's an amazing chicken. It tastes just like your grandma used to make back in her cast iron skillet. It is something that people come from all over and they are very excited to try the chicken, and they're like, that can't be like that. And then they leave with their friends that have hauled them in because you have to try this. It's better than what you have. And they're just amazed. It is amazing.
Well, what's the secret? How's it made?
I think the pan frying is ultimately the biggest secret.
You bread it? Is there milk?
It's dipped in buttermilk, and then it is dipped in a flour, salt, pepper combination. And like I said, pan fried. There's no 7 herbs like Kentucky Fried Chicken. It is just like your grandma used to make.
If your grandma was a good cook. Was the fried chicken one of the original items?
Oh, yes. Yeah, fried chicken, hamburgers. Actually, almost all of the original items are still on the menu. We've since added some for more modern tastes, but the original items are still there, and they're still the big sellers.
Well, tell me the story. Your parents opened the place.
Yes. They bought it 3 lots on East 5th Avenue. And in 1955, November 30th, welcomed the first customer.
I read that the first night they were open, what'd they do? 80 covers?
$80.
$80.
$80, yeah.
And then
The next day was $160. And then it just kept growing.
people obviously, well, let me ask you this. I don't mean to be rude, but was the place just that good, or was there nothing else in Anchorage?
Well, I think it was that good. It was different. We had a special area for takeout. We had good food. And we were also, at the time, you have to understand, this was territorial days. We were surrounded by bars, and there was gambling. And we were open at that time till 2:00 in the morning. We never served alcohol.
You just profited off the folks who had been served alcohol.
Exactly. Then statehood came, and the pipeline and the city just mushroomed.
Okay, they were coming for the chicken, which was your mom's recipe?
Grandma's
recipe.
My dad's mom.
What else? What's the other big items? Heidi, give it a shot.
We have great hamburgers. We use beef ground daily at one of our local meat packing companies here in town. We've used them forever and ever and ever. We have fantastic milkshakes, amazing milkshakes, and we've added many flavors over the years. I think our favorite one is probably the fresh strawberry shake. I remember Peggy sticking to her guns, wanting this on the menu, and George wasn't sure he liked that, but it is one of our top-selling milkshakes, and she was so proud of it. We had a strawberry shortcake that is to die for.
Strawberry shortcake?
Strawberry shortcake, and it's made with a buttermilk biscuit, and that's something that I had never had until I started there, and it's one of my favorite things. It is just amazing.
The biscuits, are they homemade?
They are.
Whose job is it to roll out biscuits every day?
We had a guy that used to do it all the time, and he was one of the longest. He started the same week I did back in 1979, and he worked right up until, I think, about 4 years ago. He opened the restaurant every morning.
Let me go back to those burgers for a minute. You have a meat packer in town? You get it that close to the source?
They grind the burger and deliver it fresh every day.
I think one of the reasons why our hamburgers are a little bit different than other places is because we steam our buns. And so we start with I tell everybody, our kitchen is a just-in-time kitchen. When that customer walks in the door, we don't have anything pre-cooked. We literally once that order has been placed, that's when the kitchen starts working on it. The hamburgers go into the flat top. They let it cook a certain amount of time. And then at that point is when they start dressing that hamburger.
While it's on the grill?
Yes. The buns go also on the grill. And so the bottom bun stays there a little longer. And then our top bun gets steamed once that meat is ready. So let's say you came to the restaurant and you order a jumbo cheese. We'll put the cheese on top of the hamburger meat. And then they'll put the bun right on top. And they'll squeeze a little bit of water that steams it up. And so the bun itself sort of comes to life because it has that little extra moisture. And then once you assemble the full entire hamburger, we usually dress them with lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, mustard, and mayonnaise.
Got a little bit of everything on there.
Being steamed, it just makes that
It
bun
really does.
that much better.
Was it always like that?
It has not changed at all. It's literally the way it was done back in the day. And we still continue those very same traditions that were established back in the day.
70 years.
70. Wow.
70.
One of you broke in at the age of 16 peeling potatoes.
That was me, but I wasn't 16. I was 12, I think 11 or 12 when I started.
You were 12, 11 or 12, Pat?
Yes, every morning before school, I would have to peel 150 to 200 pounds of potatoes. We used a potato peeler, but you couldn't let the potatoes stay too long in the peeler. And then they went into a solution, and then each potato was hand cut and went through a little machine and stayed in the solution to keep it from potatoes from turning black or a dark blue, as potatoes will do. And that was my first job. And I was very happy to give that up because I didn't.
Didn't each of the rest of this trio start there in their teens?
I started in 1979. I was 16 years old. And just to give you an idea of how amazing Peggy was, the way I got hired, the day that I went out to look for a job, my father, of course, said, it's harder than you think to get a job. It won't happen today. But I'd gone into a dress shop downtown to put in an application. I didn't remember this, but Peggy did. The lady at the counter apparently was very rude to me. And Peggy was in the shop at the time. It was between the lunch hour and the dinner hour. And oftentimes she would go shopping between the shifts. She was unhappy with how the lady had treated me. And so she chased me outside, and I was sitting on a rock out in front of JCPenney's waiting for the bus. And she came up and offered me the job. I started the next weekend, and I've been there ever since. Now, George used to like to tell the story that Peggy found me under the rock.
Carolina, your story's similar?
Well, yeah, to some degree. I was 16 and a friend of the family had, I had mentioned that I wanted to get a job. And a friend of the family mentioned that at the restaurant they were hiring, that I should come in. So I walk in for my interview, and it was Heidi who actually interviewed me. We sat there, we talked a little bit about, what I was doing in school at the time and what kind of hours I was looking for. But then she asked me, when could I start? I was just very eager. So I said, I could start right now. And so she did. She pulled the uniforms and the aprons. And literally, I finished my interview, and then I was moved right up front and to start as a hostess. Most of my training was done by Peggy. I'm from South America, Colombia, and so I also speak Spanish. Peggy loves Spanish. I mean, she absolutely loved it. So through my about 2 weeks of training, Peggy would quiz me. Okay, how do you say this? Okay, I say it this way. And then she would repeat it over and over, learning how to say certain things in Spanish. And then my accent at the time was pretty heavy. And so she would correct me and teach me exactly how I should say it to the customers. But yeah, that was 30 years ago.
I guess the word is hamburguesa, right?
Mm-hmm.
You make your own chili?
Yes.
We do.
Tell me about it. What's in it? How do you make it? How much do you serve?
Oh, my goodness.
Give away your secrets.
No.
Well, it's made from scratch. We utilize the same meat that we use for our hamburger, which is 90-10, which is a much leaner kind of meat. We're very specific about which chili powder we use. We cook it over quite a few hours,
Mhm.
so that it brings all those flavors. The onion, so that the meat and the onion are cooked together on the flat top first. Then we do the tomatoes, the kidney beans, the different seasonings with the right ratios for the water and the chili powder. And then we cook that over probably about 3 to 4 hours. But we almost have to make chili daily. It's very popular because we have amazing corn muffins. And so when you mix the two together, it's just to die for.
And in keeping it family style, we kept it so it wasn't too spicy. So the kids love it, the adults love it, everybody enjoys the chili.
You're making the corn muffins?
We make, we've been making corn muffins. I mean, it's
Hundreds of corn muffins a day.
So when you come to Alaska to visit us, be sure to order a corn muffin with your chicken.
I will be right there. What else do you make?
Fresh onion rings.
yeah.
Whose job is it and how many do you have to cut and dredge in a day?
So when I was 20, this young, handsome military guy comes to the Wishbone that was working, and I had just gotten from vacation. Well, he's my husband now, and he is the guy that does all the onion ring. And so
Did he know that was what he was getting into?
Hey, I told him because she was on vacation when I hired him. And I said, there's this girl. And lo and behold, here they are married.
we've been married now 28 years.
Oh, wow. You think of the 50s and the drive-ins and happy days. Is the Lucky Wishbone kind of that to the community?
It still is. It's still in the same location. We still have some of the same customers. The menu's the same. It's a happy days kind of place. I mean, the food is comfort food. It's not fast food.
Yeah.
It's not gourmet, I guess, but it's definitely comfort and it's definitely tasty.
I think I am probably blessed in having this job for all of these years. Back when I started in 1979, there were young couples bringing in their families, and I've gotten to watch those families grow. The kids grow into adults, have their own children. Those children grow into adults and have children, not to age myself, but I have got to see generations grow up. And it's amazing the relationships that we have had the opportunity to have with the public in Anchorage and Alaska. I've gone many places. I've been at the airport in Japan and run into customers. It is amazing the relationships we have built over the years with the people in Alaska.
Heidi, that's remarkable. Now, if I'm a regular and I walk in, do you know my order?
But more than your name, I will know what you order. Oh, your jumbo cheese, hold the onions, extra pickles, half order of fries, and a strawberry shake. I may not know your name, but I know what you eat.
Carolina? You were laughing when I asked that question. Why?
The reason why I laugh is because sometimes I'll be at the store with my children and then I see a customer. My nature, I just want to say hello because I recognize them and stuff. But my children, they're like, Mom, why do you have to say hello to everybody? And it is that. And so soon after, my son will be like, oh, well, what's his name or what's her name? And I'm like, oh, God, I cannot tell you what their name is, but I can tell you this person orders the junior all white with French fries, extra butter for his corn muffin, and a blueberry milkshake. So like when she was telling that, I'm like, oh my God, that happens to me at least once a week.
What are some other popular items?
The chicken sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
You make that fresh?
We do.
We make it from scratch, just like we prepare our chicken. We start with a chicken breast and then we tenderize it. Then we dip it into buttermilk and we dip it also on the flour. And then we drop it and cook it. And then we dress it with lettuce, tomato, honey mustard, your choice of honey mustard or mayonnaise. And then we steam the bun just like we would for the hamburger. Very recently, probably within the last, 6 months?
6 months.
We actually started to offer that very same chicken sandwich, but with 2 additional flavors. And so we do the honey barbecue sauce or the
Sweet sriracha.
sweet sriracha. And then we also have the bacon and ranch chicken sandwich. And so it's the same sandwich, but we now have it in 4 different flavors in a way. And they have been a very big hit. People have really been pleased to see the different choices.
Speaking of ranch, our ranch is the best in the world. I always tell people you can eat anything if you dip it in our ranch.
But if
It
you
is
ask
amazing.
Patty, it would be the blue
It
cheese.
would be the blue cheese.
Yep. We make that as well.
You're making these dressings, these sauces from scratch?
Yes.
What's in the ranch? Do you use buttermilk?
Yes, we do.
That's the secret to that ranch dressing is we start with buttermilk and it is very flavorful.
What else goes in? It's buttermilk?
Mayonnaise, buttermilk, Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning. I don't know if you know, but ranch was originally invented here in Alaska. That's where it came from.
I don't know.
That is a quiz item. Oftentimes when you go to a Alaska quiz night,
Are you guys competing with, I mean, I assume, I've not been to Anchorage, but it's an American city. I assume you have all the fast food joints.
Yes.
Are you in competition with them?
Well, I mean, certainly they're busy like we are, but I think our product is just different. It's fresher from scratch. We still have in-house dining. You can bring your family in and sit down and somebody waits on you at your table. It's just a different atmosphere. It's still the old classic diner atmosphere.
What's the most important thing about this venerable institution?
I would say the people. Growing up with George and Peggy as our example, they were always so amazing to their employees and to the customers alike. The special things that they did for their employees and the customers. We had Peggy oftentimes at dinner would bring little teeny sundaes out to kids at the tables. It became a tradition where families would come in and have their birthdays at the restaurant because Peggy would make a very big deal of it. We learned that without your employees, without your staff, without your longtime customers, your regulars, you just couldn't exist. That is what the Lucky Wishbone is. It's a place that not just for the employees, but for the customer alike, it's home. People they move out of the state or they go to college. The first place they come to when they come from the airport is the Lucky Wishbone. Over and over and over again, you'll find that be the case. The Lucky Wishbone is home, and it's home because it feels good to come in. We get teased a lot because we're very big huggers. There are lots of people that come in for that come in to be hugged. I had a couple that used to sit at the counter with George and I years ago, and he and his wife would come in at least 3 times a week and sit down and visit with us. And they hadn't been in a very long time, and the wife had been sick for quite a while. And they came in and I saw them and immediately ran and hugged them. And I spent the next 45 minutes sitting at the counter talking to them. And when they got ready to leave, she stood up and she had tears running down her face. And she said, this is the best day I've had in a very long time. It reminded me of the old days. And that really that kind of sums up the feeling of the restaurant when you come in.
You can go and have good food in many places, but it's the atmosphere and it's the experience that you have from beginning to end that really matters. I think that's what we're very good at. We are a restaurant that has not changed at all from where it used to be and what it is now. And so when that customer walks in the door and they get a great experience, they return, they come back, they feel special, and it is special to them.
Pat, you get the last word.
And the question was?
The question was, you've been here 70 years.
Yes.
What's the future? I mean, look, food prices are up. The restaurant business is tough. What's ahead for the Lucky Wishbone?
Well, I'm hoping another 70 years. I won't be here then, but our grandchildren will be. And I guess the memories, the watching Anchorage grow, watching Alaska grow, watching the many changes, it's comforting to still have a place that's, you feel comfortable walking in. I certainly hope that we're still around in another 70 years.
Well, congratulations again on the James Beard Award.
Thank you.
It's a well-deserved honor. And now I want to come pay you a visit.
We promise to show you our beautiful state. You'll get an extra private tour.
I will look forward to that. Thank you so much for doing this. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
From Alaska, the terrific owners of the Lucky Wishbone, here on Culinary Characters Unlocked. I'm David Page, and I'll see you next time.